Over the years, tractor makers did all kinds of things to promote advancements in their farm tractors. And Vern Konradi, you have a really great example of what Ford was doing in the late 1950s to promote one of the changes they made to their tractors. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a 1959 Golden Demonstrator. Each dealer had to take one tractor that was painted gold, and they could choose the model that they wanted as long as it was a selecto speed to promote their transmission. I've talked to some dealers that put them on jack stands and let people go through the gears in the shop. Some of them took them out on the farms and let the neighbors use them a few days each one to promote it. And at the end of the year, then they were supposed to paint those tractors red and gray and sell them to the market.
And your tractor, this one, a Ford 881 Selecto Speed, built in 1959, it was painted not gold, right?
Yes, it was red and gray. My brother found it for me. It was sitting alongside the road for sale. I've been looking for one, and it was approximately 15 miles from my house. So when it came up for sale, my brother found the gold paint underneath the red. He immediately called me, and I made the deal.
I was going to ask you, how did you know that this was really, truly a gold demonstrator?
Checked in several spots on the tractor where the paint was starting to peel off, and then when I pressure washed it, I knew for sure that it was gold underneath everywhere. And then the serial number also, the series on the serial number tells you that it is a gold demonstrator.
And so how much work was it to match up the paint and get this tractor looking the way it does now?
Well, it was a lot of work. That tractor was in pieces. I don't think there was any one piece on it that couldn't have been picked up by two guys. And every nut and bolt pretty much went out of it and back in it. I did not mess with the transmission. The transmission worked fine. But I had the rear end apart and checked it out. Took the engine off. Had a company, Bischoff Motors, did the block for me, and Zimmerman Speed Shop did my head for me. Totally went through the engine. Probably never will use it very much at all, but it's been gone through completely.
Now that Selecto Speed transmission, they had a little trouble early on, didn't they?
They did. That transmission was designed by a gentleman called Harold Brock, and I actually got to meet him and sat down and talked with him for a while. And he told me that the executives wanted that tractor to go out in 1959, and he told them that it was not ready. And they told him that they were going to put it on the market no matter what. And they did, and they had a few problems. They ended up firing Harold Brock, and Harold told me that he sat around and moped for a little bit, and John Deere called him and wanted to know if they could talk to him about building a transmission for them, and he did. His deal with them was he would do it if they only went to a 3 or 4 cylinder engine instead of the 2 cylinders. So that's how John Deere kind of got their transmission, from the guy that invented the Ford transmission.
Lots of tractor history out there like that, where ideas were traded back and forth. What do you think Ford did really well with the 881 and their tractors built around this time in 1959?
Well, that's a 3-plow tractor, so they had quite a bit of power for their size. And then, of course, they had the live hydraulics on them. This particular tractor, being an 881, it's got a 540 PTO and also a 1000 PTO RPM, and it also has a ground-driven PTO. So this was kind of the Cadillac of the 880 or the 800 series. The next one below is an 871.
And Ford really kind of did a nice job of setting up these tractors there where they were really easy for operators to use. Just about anybody in the family could get on and make it work.
Yes, and some of the things that featured was the spin-out wheels, where it was easy to adjust the wheels for cultivating, which nobody really does that much anymore, but it was easy for them at the time.
What's your favorite thing about the 881?
Oh boy, I don't know. It's such a nice tractor to drive. The power steering is probably one of the biggest pluses, that they're so easy to drive because of the power steering. And of course, with the automatic transmission, you just dial your gears. Now, there are some gears in this tractor. They got red lines through the gear, which means it's a coasting gear. So when you go down a hill, if it's in that particular gear, the transmission does not hold you back. So going down a hill, you would shift to another gear that does not have that freewheeling type thing.
Now, I know Ford's pretty big deal in the Konradi family. Why is that, Ford tractors?
Well, I grew up on Ford tractors. My dad passed when I was 8, my brother was 13, and we continued to farm with an 8N Ford, and then eventually we bought a 600 series Ford. And my brother and I basically raised my mom on the farm.
Now, Vern, I know your brother Ken passed away in the summer here of 2019, but you guys were tight on Ford tractors for a long time, collecting them together, farming with them together. What did you do as a tribute to him with Ford farm tractor?
In 2009, my brother got leukemia, and he was in the hospital for approximately 3 months. You can only buy so many flowers and cards. So while he was there, I asked him if I could borrow his tractor because I told him my mower would fit on his tractor better than it would my 2120. And he said, sure, just borrow it. He had taken the hood off and was getting ready to paint it with a brush. So my friends and I got together and we restored the tractor for him. He got out of the hospital. At the time that this show was going on, the tractor was at my house, and I called him to see if he would come down and look at my gold tractor because I had just completed that year. And so he said he would come down for a half an hour. When he got here, he had on a mask and he was cold, and it was kind of a rainy week that week of the tractor show here. And so we were walking down through the Ford tractors, and we got to his tractor, and I said, once you get on that tractor, I want to take your picture. And he got on there, and I said, don't you wish your tractor looked like that? And he said, I sure do. And I said, well, you're on your own tractor. So we surprised him. And then he got leukemia back in 2011 and beat that and was doing real well. And in 2019, he died suddenly, but not from leukemia.
Well, we're sorry to hear about Ken, but we appreciate so much what you did for him and the connection that you guys had together about Ford farm tractors.
Yeah, I appreciate your concern there. And he's such a guy and such a great guy, known through the community, and everybody's going to miss him.
And that tractor that you painted for your brother, you've got it here at the show, the 25th annual show. What do people say when they see that one? Maybe they hear the story. We
got the story on it. And they can read it, and a lot of people were here when that was done, so a lot of people know exactly what was going on with the tractor.
And I think it's kind of funny, he didn't even recognize that it was his tractor.
He did not. But he was sure surprised. And then I think every nurse and every doctor, when he went back into the hospital, knew exactly that he was proud of that tractor.
Yeah, they wanted to see the picture, I'll bet.
Oh yeah, I think his doctor even came down and drove it.
So what is it about tractor collecting? I know you and your brother were tight with these tractors. You just think it brings families and friends together?
Oh, sure does, yeah. And it brings you to a lot of people you meet, new people that you meet. I've made so many friends over the last 25 years, just being around tractors and going to tractor shows. And this tractor's been to several shows, not too many too far away. The Ford Fortune collectors, they have a 2-foot thermometer that's a steel thermometer that's got 5 tractors on it. This tractor's on top of the thermometer. This picture's on there. So this tractor's known a little bit throughout the country.
I was going to say, here at the 25th annual Franklin County show, I don't see another gold Ford out there.
I don't think I've seen another one here the years that I've been coming here. I've seen them other shows, but not this particular one.
Vern, thanks for sharing the story of your 1959 881 Ford Gold Demonstrator.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, the Konradi family, they farmed with Ford for a long time, and now they are very strong collectors of Ford farm tractors. All right, thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever. If you'd like to find more features on Ford, be sure to check out these other stories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep more Classic Tractor Fever headed your way.